Hey, what's up, everyone? Back for this Friday slate. We have a nice 14-game slate for today, so let's get right into it. You can drop a like and subscribe down below. Let's try to get over 150 likes on this video. Yesterday, I said I was going to be at the amusement park for most of the day, so I posted lineups really early on the site for both slates. The early slate had to make some adjustments with the weather in Minnesota and with my catcher not starting, so tweeted out the changes on Twitter, like I said I was going to do. And came out with a win on both formats on DraftKings with a 124.9. Corey Dickerson was a nice play, Nola, and went with Juardo with the weather in Minnesota. And at FanDuel, we scored high to cash, scored a 160 on FanDuel with Nola at the helm, and the outfielders were pretty good with Schwarber, Dickerson, and Rizzo. So it's a good day if you use some of the picks or if you get the lineups for the early slate. The main slate's going on right now, but it's not looking too hot unless the bats go off. I think will definitely be a split day, winning the early and not winning the main, just because Bueller's not doing too well. But anyway, let's try to keep it going into today's slate with a nice slate. If you want to join us, you can visit the website. Links in description, dfsprocess.net. And let's get started. At pitcher, as always. So today at pitcher, we have a couple of options at the top with like DeGrom, who has a tough matchup against the Braves, but he has been he's been pretty good against the Braves this season. He just put up a 35. He put up an 18 earlier. I don't mind him, but the Mets, their offense is just not very good, and they are in a pretty big slump. So I think it's gonna be tough for DeGrom to kind of get some run support here. So at 11-2, I don't mind him, but I'll go a little cheaper, I think. Barrios is facing the White Sox. I don't mind him either at 10-8. We know the White Sox strike out a lot, and Barrios is just a pretty good pitcher. Some starts he's not going to have like a huge score, like he's going to get you under 20, but most of the time he's going to be consistent, and having a good strikeout matchup here I think is fine. Don't have a ton of interest in Lance Lynn at over 10,000, even though he's been pretty good this season against the Rays team. I think I'll pass on Hamels here at 9,900 against the Cincinnati team. Just the price tag is pretty high on him. I really like Clevenger here. He just missed one start. The first time off the IL, he missed over 2 months, and he came back and threw 91 pitches. So the Indians, we always know they like to keep their starting pitchers. They like to throw them pretty deep into games. Like Trevor Bauer goes very deep into his games when Kluber's healthy. When Kluber was healthy, he went very deep into his game. So the aces go pretty deep for the Indians. I'm expecting Clevenger to go at least like 85 to 90 pitches. Can definitely get the job done there in a very happy strikeout matchup against this Baltimore team. He's also a pretty heavy favorite, which I like. He just has a ton of upside. Like even in 85 to 90 pitches, he can have like 7 to 10 strikeouts. He had 7 strikeouts in just 91 pitches the other day, a couple weeks ago against the Rangers. And this Baltimore team does strike out a lot, and he's at a really nice price tag at 96. So I like him as my first pitcher. And my second pitcher, I'm going to play $6,500 for Hernandez here. Elieser Hernandez is $6,500. He's been pretty good so far this season in a few starts. He has some strikeout upside as well, and the Phillies do have some strikeout heavy hitters in the lineup with like Harper and Hoskins. And pitching at home, I think he can do a good job here. In the minor leagues, he was outstanding, which is why he got called up with 1.13 ERA and 69 strikeouts in 48 innings. He's already shut down the Cardinals lineup twice. He had a decent game against the Phillies the other day, like 13.7 out of 6,500 price tag. You'll definitely take that. And that game was in Philly, so now this one's in Miami. It's a huge ballpark upgrade, so that should add on a couple more points to his line. And he only threw 80 pitches in that one, and he has shown the ability to go over 100. So if he gets 95 to 100 pitches in this one, I think he can get you close to 20 DraftKings points, and at that price tag, you'll definitely take it there. So those are two guys that I like. At pitcher, at second base, Jose Altuve continues to be underpriced here at 3,900, facing a lefty here in Tommy Milone. Now I know Malone's been pretty good as of late, but I will still play Jose Altuve whenever he faces a lefty, just because he's been hitting lefties so well this season. I'll pull up the numbers for him. For him to be under $4,000 is a really nice bargain here. Especially, I'm expecting the Astros to have a pretty high total. Even though Tommy Milone has been pretty good, I'm pretty sure Yeah, the Mariners bullpen, they have one of the worst bullpens in the league. They've given up the most runs out of any team in the major leagues this season, so their pitching is just very bad. This Astros lineup should be able to get to Malone a little bit at least. Someone like a guy like Altuve who's hitting 385 against left-handed pitching this season with 5 home runs and just 39 at bats. That gives him a 846 slugging percentage and a 462 ISO. Just hits the ball so well against lefties. He has a 38.7% fly ball rate and only a 9% soft contact rate. I think Altuve can get the job done here at only $3,900. He's just too cheap. He should be like $4,500. He's been on a long hit streak. He's not putting up bagels most of the time. He's at least getting you some points, and he has a little bit of speed. Although he hasn't really flashed his stolen base upside this season, I guess because of the hamstring that he suffered. They don't want him to run too much, but if he's healthy enough to run, I guess he will take off if he has a chance to. At 3,900, I like the spot for him a lot. He's just too cheap here. Next up at third base, I really like the spot here for Vlad Guerrero Jr. At only 3,400, offers incredible value here facing Danny Duffy, a lefty. Duffy, for his entire career, has been much worse against right-handed bats, and Guerrero, he's not a heavy strikeout hitter. He puts the ball in play most of the time, and against Duffy, I expect him to do some damage here. He's also just incredibly cheap and makes for a nice cash game play. Offers you roster flexibility to pay up for other positions, and this season, Duffy's given up he's been a little worse to lefties, but if you look at his career numbers, they are much worse to right-handed bats, with a career 260 average given up and a 433 slugging percentage, and he has a 4.71 xFIP. So I like the spot here for Guerrero at just 3,400. In the outfields, I'm going to go up for Cody Bellinger here at 6,000. The Dodgers offense playing in Coors, you definitely want to get some exposure, especially against a guy like Sensatella, who is pretty up and down, but against this Dodgers lineup, I expect him to struggle here. At home in Coors, Dodgers just have a great lineup top to bottom. Bellinger's been one of the best hitters in baseball this season. Sensatella's not been good at home. He has a 6.21 ERA at home, and lefties have hit him really, really hard with a 336 average and a 531 slugging percentage. He has just a 12.1% K rate, and he has a 5.77 xFIP to lefties. So I have a lot of interest in the lefties from the Dodgers, but is why going cheap a little bit at my SP2 with a guy like Hernandez, going cheap at third base with a guy like Guerrero. Altuve is still a nice point per dollar play at 3,900. And Bellinger this season has been hitting the ball very well. Both sides of the plate, hitting over 350 against righties. He has 16 home runs. He has an incredible 355 ISO, just a 15% K rate. He hits the ball really hard with a 53% hard hit rate against righties, and he has a 39% fly ball rate. Tremendous numbers there. He's also he has been a little better at home this year, but it's not like he's getting a ballpark downgrade. He's getting a great ballpark upgrade going into Coors, and he's just been so good as of late. Love Bellinger here, even though it's expensive at 6,000. And last but not least, I like Corey Dickerson. So he came through for us on the early slate, so I'm going to go right back to him. He's been on a little hot streak. Was all over him yesterday just because Peacock is really bad against lefties if you look at his numbers. And he was only 3,600. So his price tag has come up a little bit, but I don't mind the matchup here against Chacin. Chacin, his advanced numbers against lefties are horrendous. So I think a guy like Corey Dickerson can stay hot because, with Polanco on the IL, this is his best chance to prove himself before the trade deadline. If one of those players gets traded, just because there's not a ton of playing time in the outfield for the Pirates. But anyway, if you look at the numbers for Chacin, if you look at just a 243 average, 439 slugging, giving up 2 lefties, they look okay. But if you look at the advanced numbers here, just a 10.9% K rate to lefties this season. He has a massive 6.47 xFIP. Those numbers are really bad and signal that he should get hit pretty hard against lefties pretty soon. He has a 50.5% hard hit rate against lefties, and Dickerson is just a solid hitter. He's really started to wake up. He was injured for a little bit for most of the season, but he's really started to get his timing down and his swing, and he's just a solid hitter. He was great for the Rays that one year. And if we look at his numbers, we'll look at last season. This year, he's hitting 341 against right-handed pitching in just 48 at-bats. 44 at-bats, 48 plate appearances. He has a 250 ISO. Doesn't strike out that much either, just a 14.6% K rate. 2018, he was solid as well with a 302 average against righties. He hits for a little bit of power, 194 ISO, just a 13% K rate. And he has a decent fly ball rate that's much better against righties at 37% and a 37% hard hit rate. And last but not least, his career numbers against righties are pretty good with a 289 career average and a 240 career ISO. Love the spot for Dickerson. He also gets a big ballpark upgrade, and now he gets to hit in one of the best ballparks in the league for left-handed power, Miller Park. And this Pirates lineup is on fire right now. They're really hitting the ball well. They scored 24 runs the last 2 games. I think there's a chance they can stay hot here, especially with a lot of the switch hitters and the lefties in the lineup facing Chacin. So those are the 6 players I like for this slate. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Drop a like if you enjoyed.